listen, it's a generality, not just necessarily about the band, but when you look back on that decade of the 70s, what do you automatically think of?
Well, it was a great fun time, certainly in the glam rock years, but as you were saying earlier, with the 3-day week and the miners' strikes and power cuts, TV used to go off at 10 o'clock at night because of the power strikes. And I think people then, in hard times, they turn to showbiz. They want glamour, they want colourful images. They want to go into a fantasy land, and I think that's what happened with glam rock. That's why it became so big, and certainly with our single Merry Christmas. Around Christmas '73, the country was at its lowest ebb with the things that were happening economically. And,
so it was like an antidote,
yeah,
really.
Merry Christmas was a very optimistic song, and it really took off so big.
As a point of interest, with the power strike or the saving of power, did you ever get literally unplugged with the band? Did that restrict you?
No, we didn't actually. We were pretty careful to start the concert an hour earlier, so that you know, the curfew was 10:30, and we usually finished by 10:30 then.
Now the clothes were outrageous.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So at what point precisely did you start to wear that type of gear?
Well, we were always a colourful band right from the start, right from 1966 when we first formed, but we went really over the top in about 1971. We started to go outrageous, and then other bands came in our wake and they tried to get more outrageous, so we got more outrageous still, and so it snowballed, and that was what
because you were sort of skinhead before, weren't you?
We were skinheads in the very late 60s, yeah, but as soon as we got our first chance to get on TV, we wanted to look colourful and people take notice of us, and as long as people were talking about us in the pubs the next day, even if you loved or hated the music, that was all we cared about. We wanted to make an impact as soon as we got on TV.
So was it Chaz Chandler who came in and sort of changed a lot of that?
Oh, no, Chaz let us have our own freedom of what we wore. It was all our own ideas, and obviously myself and Dave were the two at the forefront of the band. Jimmy didn't really like all the dressing up at all. He wasn't into it at all.
What did he say about it?
Well, he just thought he was just really into the music, and he didn't get into all the colourfulness and the promotion of the band particularly. But me and Dave, you know, we went well over the top. Dave more so than me. I mean, Dave used to... When he used to have a new outfit every time we were on Top of the Pops, he'd never change in front of us. He'd go into the toilets and he'd never let us see him putting it on bit by bit. He wanted us to see the full effect.
With shock sometimes.
Yeah, shock tactics, definitely. And we used to have this saying when he was ready to come out, I used to say to him, "Come on, David, reveal." And then he'd come out in all his glory and we'd all fall about on the floor. And we'd give all his outfits nicknames, like he had one with... it looked like a Cleopatra silver wig, and we used to call that the Metal Nun. He had one that was covered in flowers. That was Foghorn Leghorn, you know, the cartoon character.
So that was your first #1. Now, what was the excitement like at getting the first?
Oh, that was fantastic. It's what you always work for. You know, when you're standing in front of the mirror with your cricket bat, pretending you're a rock star, wiggling your hips, you always want to be Top of the Pops. And when you get that phone call on chart day saying, you're #1, you've got there, it is the best feeling in the world. I mean, we had 6 #1s, but that first one is real special.
Do you know, everybody always says that the very, very first one, you never experience anything like it ever again.
You never get another feeling like it.
Did you celebrate at the time?
Well, actually, we were working solidly. We did celebrate, but we had to drive down to London. We were still based in the Black Country in the Midlands, and we drove down to London on the Tuesday night, and they used to film Top of the Pops on a Wednesday in those days. And we had to come down overnight on the Tuesday, and we were in the studio doing Top of the Pops on the Wednesday. You know, it was our first time on Top of the Pops with the #1 spot.
But then you were never off Top of the Pops after.
We
you
weren't
were like
after
the house band.
We were the house band. We were on continually.
Now, just let's talk about that song, because it's so legendary, isn't it?
Yes.
Every single Christmas, no matter where you go, you hear it.
Well,
what's the secret of it?
It's its 26th year this year. It's never actually been deleted. It's always in the shops to be bought every Christmas. I think it's just a catchy song. It shows up a very working class Christmas. Actually, when I first wrote the song in 1967, the chorus melody to the song was the first song I ever wrote. It was in the acid psychedelic hippie days, and the original lyrics were, "So won't you buy me a rocking chair to watch the world go by? Buy me a looking glass to look me in the eye." Those were the original lyrics. We never used the song, and then 7 years later, we dug it up, put new lyrics to it, and it became Merry Christmas, everybody. And it's just every Christmas it comes out, and people know it's Christmas when they hear that song. I think when we wrote the song, we knew we'd written a hit, and I think we knew we'd written a #1 record, but we certainly didn't realise it'd be going strong 26 years later.